Hi everybody, my name is Shannon and welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Today, this will be my first time doing this type of video. This is everything I made or finished. I didn't necessarily start it, but everything I finished in January 2024. So some of the things were things that I started this month. Some of the things were whips that had been languishing for oh so long, and they are now done. And isn't that exciting? I think so. So one of them that I am surprised at, because it doesn't seem like I just finished this in January, is this beautiful sweater that I have been wearing constantly because, I mean, let's face it, it's gorgeous. It's color. I finished it. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I finished it. I did it. Yes. So this one right here is the Plumose Sweater. I used the Remix Light to go ahead and make this. It's a Berroco yarn, and I absolutely adore this. I finished this in January, and I started it in 2022. Yeah, so this was a long-standing whip. I needed to finish the sleeves. This is a pattern for me, needing to finish the sleeves of things. But this, I have finished. I got it done. And I'm so thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. So that is one. Oh, I have my planner, right? My evil planner. It's not an evil planner. It's a beautiful planner. It's gorgeous. It hasn't been getting a lot of love lately. That's okay. I did do a lot of documentation at the beginning of the month. So I know what I actually finished. And I got to look at this. And if I had to work on my memory, I wouldn't have brought the sweater up. I just didn't remember. I actually finished this sweater this month. So this is one. I also finished a cardigan that I started in October of 2023. And I've got pictures of my daughter wearing it because, let's face it, she's a lot cuter than me holding it up. But this is this. That doesn't tell you anything, does it? Right? So my daughter's adorable. So she's much better looking than me holding this thing up. But this is the Harvest Sweater by TinCan Knits. And that is a free pattern. Well, so is this one for that matter. And I'll have those linked down below if I remember where they're at. And that one right there is a great first pattern to make. It's a worsted weight yarn. You're using larger needles. The size is very, very inclusive, going from small child all the way up to very large adult. It's multi-X in size it goes up to. The details are very, very detailed. There's also pattern support and tutorials, and that is part of their Simple series, where they're really trying to really help people out that want to make a first wearable. And if you don't like that one, there's multiple other choices, and they're free, that you can look at. And yeah, this is my first time making that one, but I have used other TinCan knit patterns, and that's wonderful. So that's two large garments done. And again, I didn't just start them here in January, but I finished them. And isn't that what matters? There you go. And one of the other ones that is a larger one I don't have in person, so we have to work off of pictures, is Camp Buggy Creek. I sent my blankets. They received them. I'm so thrilled. So one of the blankets that I did is off of the Daisy Chain pattern, which is a shawl pattern, which is also a free pattern. So I modified that to be able to do it into a rectangle blanket, and rimmed that with some black trim on it to where it looked like a wobbly frame. The idea was to put cars, little racing cars and everything on it, sew those on their buttons. But I was advised that they didn't really necessarily want that. So I didn't do it. It was sad. I have the cars. I have a whole bag of car buttons that just need another purpose now. But that's okay. That's fine. So those were three large projects that got done this month. And then I have this bag. You love this bag? This is a Joann's bag. Okay, it's not Joann's stuff, but this is a Joann's bag. I just had to get it. I mean, come on, that's kind of cute. So I've got this and different things that I have. This one, I'm at a loss now because this cute little top, look at that. Look, that was my car project for the longest time. This is made out of bamboo pop sock yarn. And I forget offhand what size needles I used, and this was just all in my head. And look at the lace that was put on the bottom. Isn't that pretty? Just kind of in my head and flowing, and it made sense at the time. You know how that goes? It made sense. It was fine. Intentional holes. That's all lace is. Intentional holes. So there you go. When I first showed this, I commented that there's definitely some mistakes in here. I'm not going to point them out. I generally point out my mistakes. I'm not going to point this one out because I didn't notice it until I was casting off. Or actually, well, I didn't notice it until I was weaving in the ends. And that's it. And it was at the very beginning. So that's just, it is what it is. So this does fit my 14-year-old granddaughter, or 14-month-old granddaughter, not year, month, 14-month-old granddaughter. And I will be able to go ahead and give that to her now, or mommy actually, and mommy will put it on her. And another thing that I had that was a car project for quite some time. And I just, you know, I get to a certain point and I start the raglan and I'll go around and around and around and around and around. And then I set it down for whatever reason. And this one was at the sleeve point. It was at the sleeves. This is another one that's in my head. I'm not sure if I kind of started with maybe brick or looking at TinCan knits or something along that line. I know it's very simple raglan style, and then I just did my own thing. I had this, and then on the bottom, oh, how exciting. Look at this. Look at that. That's a feather and fan right through here, right? And then I have baubles. And my granddaughter says, they look like flowers. Yes, there you go. So she likes the flowers. They look like little roses, little tiny roses all dotted along the bottom. So she really enjoys this. This one fits my 8-year-old granddaughter. She did not want sleeves, which was nice because it was sitting there waiting for sleeves for a very long time. So I did a little bit of an I-cord edge to match what I did on the neck, and done. I don't know why it languished as long as it did. I'm not sure when I started this. Sometime in 2023, but I don't know exactly when, but I finished it in January. So that's exciting. Another one down. And then another project that I got to get done is these fingerless mitts. So this is a pattern on the Berroco booklet 366. It's actually a men's booklet of different patterns, and this is called Hook. So these little fingerless mitts is called Hook. The original pattern calls for a worsted weight yarn, and I've used in this one, it is a fingering weight yarn. This is a Queensland collection fingering weight yarn, and I like it on size 3s. It's beautiful. I've made this pattern with the worsted weight yarn like it called for, and it really does come up with a very large mitt. I was still able to give them, I found a recipient with large enough hands, I was able to give those away previously. I've used this pattern and made 3 different sets. So this is obviously my feminine version. The pattern does have individual fingers. I didn't want to put the individual fingers on it. It does make it a lot easier. So if it does get a little chilly, you know, there you go. Perfect. There you go. So fun. And it took a while to get the thumbs in because, you know, thumbs, I had to finish the thumbs. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like sleeves, but a little smaller. Thumbs. Got them done. And then I did for the Mystery Yarn Challenge, and I'm excited because I'm also part of the February, right? So the February names are getting drawn and everything. And then, oh, I dropped it. And then those will be sent off and I will be able to make more. But this was the first hat that I made. This fits my granddaughter, which is perfect because I realized a lot of the hats that I had are adult hats with larger heads, etc. And then I don't have any necessary sitting around for my granddaughter to wear. This one, I started off as the inspiration here with a free pattern and called Ombre, and it's just the way the color work is done. And I went off script, as I like to call it, and did my own like, it looks like, to me, it looks like frosting. You know, those fancy cooking shows that you see, and they make those really expensive cakes, and it's like this shiny, just gorgeous frosting, and then it drips down the side. That's what that looks like to me. And I was really pleased with making that particular effect. It just, to me, that's adorable. Yeah, you can put a pom-pom on this or just leave as is. So that was a lot of fun. I got that one done. Just really nice things. And then this one, this right here, I did this with my mystery yarn challenge also, and a beautiful Fair Isle. This is a pattern on Ravelry that is, it's a free pattern. It's called the Fair Isle Cowl. And I used all of the motifs from the actual pattern and continued up. And then when I got it as high as I wanted to as a hat, I went ahead and did my decreases, turning it into a hat instead of the cowl. So I did my own color work on the top and my own decreases there, but all of these were from the actual pattern, and I have enjoyed this so much. I especially like this. This down here, I can see that as being an all over color work design on something. I think that is stunning. If you're looking to do a little bit of color work, but maybe not a lot, you can always pull up this pattern and then just do practice. This is just 2 stitches, 2 rows, right? You don't even need a pattern for that. That one right there, it's every other row, every other stitch is one color. And bouncing back and forth from that in the next row, you know, if it was dark to light, light to dark, there you go. So it's just 2 rows. This one's got a few more rows, and obviously a few more rows, but those would be good. Any particular one of those motifs would be great to practice with. You could just like I have here, do your ribbing, pick any one, do that, and then do the rest of your hat in stockinette. So that's one way of doing it. And as I've stated multiple times, when you're doing color work or any of these types of designs, your chart doesn't care if you're knitting, if you're crocheting, if you're doing mosaic knitting, mosaic crocheting, Tunisian crocheting, your grid doesn't care. So even though this particular pattern is knit, you can still access it as a free pattern and do whatever you want to with those grids. So I always find that very, very exciting, new ways of using things and doing things. So that is 9 projects, surprisingly, that I got completed in the month of January. Now, how many did I start? I started 8. I did. I started 8. Out of those 8, 3 were started and finished in January. Yep. Only 3 of them were started and finished in January. The rest of them were whips. So I did go ahead, if you look at it that way, I had 6 items that were not started in January. They were long-standing whips. This one was 2022, right? So I had 6 items that I went ahead and finished that were just on the needles, on the hooks, etc. And, you know, just did it. Oh, you know what? You guys were counting, weren't you? You're like, woman, you can't count. That was 8 projects. You know what? You're right. That was 8. I have 9. I finished them. I finished them. I finished them. I finished them. Oh my gosh. I did not want to finish these. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. These are really, really nice. This is the 2 needle sock. It is a knit pattern, but there's a crochet version. So you can knit it, you can crochet it. And it is this weird origami thing that you fold and it turns into socks. And I couldn't wrap my head around it for the longest time, but I got it. My daughter has claimed these and they are done. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. Not hard at all. I just have a lot of other things that I have on the needles and on the hooks that I wanted to do more than these. So this was a gut check to go ahead and finish them. And that's the only reason. So this was started and finished this month. And so were the hats. Everything else were long-standing whips. That's crazy. So there you go. That's January. That's a wrap. Let's see what goes on in February. All right, everybody. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.